Pleasantries gamers, and welcome back to Top 10 Gaming. I'm your host Connor Monroe, and we're getting creepy again, this time pertaining to Eevee. This creepypasta I personally haven't heard of and took a bit of digging to find it, so hopefully you won't have heard of it either. Make sure you're wearing your brown pants, let's go. This creepypasta is named Prevention of Evolution. It was an ordinary Saturday afternoon. I was on my DSi playing Soul Silver. I was currently in Goldenrod City with my Typhlosion, named Titan, right behind me. I had my Action Replay DSi in with a new code on, a code that would let you get a shiny Eevee. I found it while looking around on the internet one day, and I just had to try it because I love shiny Eevees. I made my character walk up to the Pokemon Center and walked up to the PC. The code I had was supposed to make the shiny Eevee appear in box 5. Before pressing the R and L buttons, I made sure that there were no Pokemon in that box. After moving any Pokemon that were in box 5 to another box, I went to box 4 and pressed the buttons simultaneously. Then I returned to box 5 and sitting there was a shiny Eevee. The Eevee was oddly named E, and it was level 1. Its moves were Tackle, Swift, Takedown, and Bite. I shrugged off the old name and put E in my party. I was going to trade him into my Heart Gold since I play that more often. I also had a cloning code for it, which I could use to gain more shiny Eevees, to get all the shiny evolutions. I grabbed my other DSi and turned it on. I proceeded to start up my save file and move my character into the Union Room, along with my character on Soul Silver. After the trading process was done, I saved both games and turned off both systems. I took my Action Replay out of the DS with Soul Silver and put it into the other. I turned it on and activated the cloning code. Once I put E in my PC, I proceeded to clone him. I then later got all the evolutions except for Flareon. I shrugged, I can get Flareon later. I saved my game and turned it off. I then took my Action Replay out and put it back in my other DS along with Soul Silver. I started up my game and proceeded to get another shiny Eevee. One more time, I said to myself as I once again pressed the R and L buttons and moved to box 5. Again, it was named E and had the same moveset as the last one. I moved E into my party, then closed out of the PC. I remembered that I turned on the max XP code on my Action Replay so I could train Eevee. I opened my bag and looked for an XP share. I found one and gave it to E. I moved my character out of the Pokemon Center and went to go look for wild Pokemon. As soon as I left Goldenrod City, I went into the first patch of grass I saw. I walked around until a wild Pokemon appeared. A wild Rattata appeared. Go Titan. I tapped attack, then return. Titan used return. The wild Rattata fainted. As the Pokemon disappeared from the screen, I held down the R buttons. E continued gaining levels until it was about level 32. As I went back to the overworld, I opened up my party and switched E to the front, so I could battle with him. A wild Abra appeared. Go E. I tapped on attack, then bite, seeing as it could be super effective against the psychic type Pokemon. E used bite. It's super effective. The wild Abra fainted. I pressed R again and watched as E proceeded to gain more levels. It went on until it reached level 57, but before returning to the overworld, it went through the evolution screen. There I saw E. What? E is evolving. I waited around for a moment to see what it was trying to evolve into, and it was trying to evolve to an Espeon. I pressed the B button to stop the evolution, being that I already had a shiny Espeon, and the normal text of "What? E stopped evolving" came on screen. I returned to the overworld and my character was facing E. ... appeared above its head, and a text box came up. E wants to evolve. I shake my head and ignore the text, thinking that it was only an odd interaction. I proceeded to fight more and more wild Pokemon until E was up to level 72. Every time I came out of a wild battle, E would try to evolve into Espeon. I kept pressing B to stop the evolution until something strange happened. A text box comes up as E's sprite jumps up and down and emits an Eevee Cry. E wants to evolve. Let him or else. Yes or no options come up. My hand was shaking as I slowly moved my stylus away from the screen. I nervously clicked on no. E's sprite jumps up and down as the angry icon appeared over its head. A loud Eevee Cry blasted through the speakers of my DS, causing me to jump from the sudden outburst. A text box comes up. If you refuse to let me evolve, I'll force you into it. I was then taken into a Pokemon battle. E is attacking. Go Titan. Titan's cry sounded as if he was on low health, although his health bar was full. E's sprite looked as if it was angry. This sprite showed his claws, outstretched, and was gritting his teeth. I gulped and tapped attack, then eruption. Titan used eruption. E avoided the attack. E violently attacked Titan. The attack animation played as though E was using slash over and over again. It kept going on as Titan's health slowly started to decrease, and though each slash I could hear my poor Typhlosion crying out. It only stopped after Titan's health dropped to 0. Titan was mercilessly attacked over and over, the text said. As Titan's sprite disappeared, a pool of crimson red was left behind, and my DS suddenly turned off. What just happened left me stunned. I sat there with my eyes wide open, I clenched my DS in my hands, and as I slowly moved my thumb over to the power button and pressed it. Oddly, right after I turned my DS back on, Soul Silver immediately started back up. I skipped the opening scene and went to the title screen. I nearly screamed at what I saw. The ocean that Lugia swam in was blood red, and the music was distorted and terrible. Lugia had scars and gashes over it, and the poor thing looked terrified. I pressed the start button and looked over my save file. This is what it read. Name, Klaus. Playtime, 666:66. Badges, 16. Pokedex, 666. I wanted to throw my DS against the wall, but curiosity took over me and I hesitantly pressed the A button to continue my file. The world I was in looked like Ilex Forest, only the grass and trees were crimson red in color. There were Pokemon organs scattered all around the area. They were even hanging from the trees. I moved my character around, but he was moving much slower than usual and couldn't run. After I looked around the area, I heard what sounded like a Typhlosion Cry, and the text box came up, "Typhlosion is suffering." That surprised me. I thought my dear Typhlosion was dead. I shook my head and tried to ignore it as I traveled through the bloody Ilex Forest. Things got more horrifying. There were bones everywhere along with organs. The bones had flesh rotting off of them. The water was a blood red color and it was making me feel sick to my stomach. I continued on until I was no longer in control of my character. He continued to walk forward until what looked like an overworld shiny Eevee sprite was right in front of him. Only the sprite had shiny Espeon ears and a tail to go along with it. The eyes, ears, and tail were bleeding, not to mention the eyes were glowing red. There was also the jewel of an Espeon in the Eevee's forehead. A distorted mixture of Espeon and Eevee's Cry played and I was taken into a wild Pokemon battle. Eevee is attacking. Go Titan. I was shocked at the two sprites. Titan was a dark green and dark orange color with pitch black flames, and the Eevee/Espeon from earlier stood there with a hideous grin on its face. I examined Titan more closely. His eyes were black with red pupils, there was flesh exposed everywhere on his face, his spine was coming out of his back, and the tears in his back in which the bone was coming out were bleeding terribly. There was a hole in his neck and his stomach, in which his organs were exposed, and it looked as if a large amount of intestine was coming out of his stomach. One part of his right arm was torn off and exposed bone. His eyes, nose, and mouth were bleeding. I nervously moved my stylus over attack and tapped it. Titan had all the same moves, only they were all dark type. I clicked on Flamethrower. Titan used Flamethrower. The flames emitted from its mouth were pitch black, just like the flames on its neck. E's health dropped only slightly. You should have let me evolve. This is what you get for preventing me. E used Kill. Titan was mercilessly torn apart. Titan was killed. Titan's sprite disappeared from the screen, leaving a large pool of crimson red. I was back in the overworld. Titan's body was torn apart and the limbs were sitting right next to E, as the head and abdomen were floating in a pool of crimson red. E started to slowly advance towards my character. I'm not done yet. The screen went to black, and all I could hear was what sounded like slash. It went on continuously, the sound getting louder and louder until it eventually stopped. I was taken back to the overworld, only to see that my trainer had suffered the same fate as Titan. E's sprite jumped up and down and that hideous distorted cry played again. Now go rot with your precious Typhlosion, you fool. With these words, the screen faded to black and I could no longer do anything. I sat there for a while until the DS turned itself off, but not without playing E's distorted cry one more time. I threw my DS against the wall and started sobbing. I will no longer look at shiny Eevees in the same way. Ever again. Well, there we have it, everyone. The scariest Eevee creepypasta you've never heard, and I did not write this one. Wouldn't the easiest solution just to be give it an Everstone? Doesn't that stop evolution? Then you could grab a Thunderstone and just remove the Everstone when you're ready. Some people always look towards a more complicated solution. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and share this video with a friend who loves Eevee. While you do that, I'm going to read some comments out from another video I made. The top 10 video games that punish you for being a jerk. Michael Dunn said, top 10 funny Easter eggs. I think the Pac-Man Easter egg in Skyrim is pretty funny, and I think that would be fairly high on the list. Zach Ward said, I want to see this boy sing Revenge. So we back in the mine. Okay, just cut me off there, because demonetized. Mewtwo Master 12 said, Banana, I'm digging Mini Benedict. Well, hi Mewtwo Master, thank you for watching till the end of that video, and thank you, I'm digging me too. Roshane Fowler said, I am the second king of cheese. If that's the case, then we must duel. Bring it on. That's it for now. If you made it to the end of this video, put in the comments your favorite vegetable with no context. You all did well last time, so again, no context whatsoever. Thank you all so much for watching. I have been and shall remain both Connor Monroe and horrified, and I'll see you in another video.